নমস্কার, দূরদর্শন ত্রিপুরায় আপনাদের প্রত্যেককে স্বাগত। আপনারা যারাই এই অনুষ্ঠান দেখছেন, আপনারা জানেন আমাদের আজকের এই অনুষ্ঠানের নাম চর্চা, যার আক্ষরিক অর্থ দ্বারায় আলোচনা করা। কিন্তু এই আলোচনা কিংবা চর্চার জন্য সবথেকে গুরুত্বপূর্ণ একক হচ্ছে ভাষা, অর্থাৎ মত প্রকাশ করা। আর এই মত প্রকাশ করাকে নিয়েই আমাদের মধ্যে বিভিন্ন ধরনের মতামত রয়েছে। আমরা জানি ভারতবর্ষের সংবিধানের ১৯-এর ১ অংশে বর্ণিত হয়েছে মত প্রকাশের স্বাধীনতা। কিন্তু বর্তমান সময়ে দাঁড়িয়ে বিভিন্ন জায়গা থেকে অভিযোগ উঠছে যে এই মত প্রকাশকে ঠিকঠাকভাবে করতে দেওয়া হচ্ছে না। কোথায়? সংবাদ জগতে। আমাদের আজকের চর্চার বিষয় সংবাদ জগতে মত প্রকাশের স্বাধীনতা কতটা প্রাসঙ্গিক এবং বর্তমান ভারতবর্ষে কতটা রয়েছে। এবং আলোচনা করার জন্য এই মুহূর্তে আমাদের সঙ্গে স্টুডিওতে উপস্থিত রয়েছেন প্রফেসর কে.জি. সুরেশ, ভাইস চ্যান্সেলর, মাখনলাল চতুর্বেদী ন্যাশনাল ইউনিভার্সিটি অফ Journalism and Communication. Sir, welcome to Doordarshan Tripura.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Sir, at the very outset, before going into the conversation as well as the topic, you were a guest of our state. And what is your impression about Tripura?
Oh, it's so beautiful. And the people are so courteous. The culture is so diverse. The food is so delicious. So I had to wait for over 5 decades to come to Tripura, and I'm really grateful to the government of Tripura, to the Information and Cultural Affairs Department for making this happen. There was a 2-day training program for journalists, print media journalists, and I was a resource person.
Right.
And I had a wonderful experience, a memorable experience, visiting some of the very important tourist spots. Hopefully, I look forward to coming back soon.
Right. So you have praised a lot about our food and our way of living. So what are the things which can be improved from your perspective?
Well, I think that honestly, I feel that branding and marketing is somewhere missing.
Okay.
Even there are small states like Kerala which are doing extremely well in terms of branding and marketing their product. You have got great products. You have got great properties, some of the most beautiful locations. It's a combination of heritage and landscape that you have, history, culture, tribal culture, handicrafts, handlooms. And I think that you need to brand it a little more, market it a little more. I'm sure that, there will be a huge demand. Okay. Because you have a combination of, there is a convergence of cultures here.
Right.
And I'm sure that, it would bring more tourists to the state, and it would, improve the infrastructure here. And once people start coming, it would add to income of the people here, and give a boost to traditional arts, culture. So I think that there is an immense potential. I see a lot of potential.
Right. So, so many people believe that geographical location of Tripura is a barrier to its development. So, do you accord with them, or do you disagree?
Well, I think that in this age of communication, I don't think that might have been a problem when we did not have the kind of facilities that today we have.
Okay.
But fortunately, today, air travel has become very easier. We have the Udan scheme is there. We have people being encouraged to fly, and the train facilities are there. So I don't think that, yes, there is always a scope for improvement, but if you have the right product, people will come to you. People go to, despite the heavy cost involved, people go to Kerala. People go to Goa. People go to Hawaii Islands, people go to Maldives. So, it depends on how you market your product. Exactly. That it should become something that, that should attract people to come for something exotic, something exquisite, and you have it. I mean, yesterday I was in Chabimura, and I found that, it is India's Amazon, right. The kind of location you have. You can have film shootings in those right. places. It's beautiful, and I think that it's magical. You have tea gardens, you have rubber estates, you have bamboo plantations. I think that it's awesome. You should brand it and market it a little more. I mean, from a communication point of view,
Exactly.
that's my suggestion.
We are glad to receive your point of view.
Yes.
So let us touch the topic of our conversation today, that media and its freedom of expression. So before delving into the topic, I would like to know about from you that what is your opinion about the media fraternity of Tripura?
Well, I had a 2 day session with the media fraternity here. They were mostly from the print media.
Okay.
Then a couple of television channels also interviewed me, and I met them also. And I found them very intelligent and very receptive to new ideas. In fact, I suggested at the meeting when the Honorable Information and Cultural Affairs Minister Sushanta Chaudhary was also there, I suggested that we can have a regular training program in collaboration with my university, which is India's largest media university and Asia's first media university. And I think that what they need is a little more skilling, a little more upgradation, skill upgradation, and a little more training. If that is done, I'm sure they would be among the best in the country. They are very politically cued in, and media across the country, across the world, are going through a very critical phase. So that certainly impacts Tripura also. It's no different. But by and large, I found them to be receptive to the ideas. And what you need is a little bit of training, a little bit of orientation. That would make them much more professional in their approach.
So since you have spent 2 days with them, how do you find, because many people who are associated with print as well as electronic media in Tripura, they complain from the economic point of view that the kind of work they are doing, they are not getting the exact amount of money.
I think that is a problem with most of the media houses across India, except the big ones.
Then how to balance
smaller
this?
and medium ones are not able to. You see, we will have to look at a model which is, based on the subscriber base.
Okay.
Today, media is totally dependent on advertisements, whether it is government or private, for their revenue. It's almost 80-20. It doesn't work like that. In the long run, you need to have a large subscriber base. So people should support it. If they can pay 400 rupees to buy popcorns in a multiplex,
Right.
Or if they can spend 400 rupees for a Netflix or an Amazon Prime for entertainment, I think they should be ready to pay more than 2 rupees or 4 rupees for a newspaper, because the cost itself is so prohibitive that this extreme dependency on advertisement also compromises on the independence of the media. So it's very important that the people support the media.
Right.
We are ready to financially extend more support in terms of paying more subscription. Only then it will survive. Independent media, if you want, you will have to pay the price for it.
So basically, sir, what you are suggesting that the revenue model has to be changed.
Yes.
In the course of time.
At least it has to be balanced to begin with.
Okay.
This 80-20 doesn't work.
So it should be 50-50.
To begin with, at least.
Okay.
The best thing would be, Gandhiji never used to take advertisements for either Harijan or Young India. He would say that if I take advertisement, then, I would have to compromise about writing about them, my advertisers.
Isn't it, sir, the socio-political context has also changed? Now people are dependent on the media houses. So revenue is very important. Earning is very important.
Revenue is very important. Revenue, you have to pay your staff. You have to pay for the infrastructure. You have to pay the rentals. So where do they bring money? So I think that the people will have to support it.
Right. So then how do you look at the issue that that freedom of expression from media's point of view, how it is exercised in our country?
Well, we don't have any media, any exclusive rights like the American Constitution, where under the First Amendment you have the right to press, right to free press. We have Article 19(1)(a), which is which talks about the right to freedom of speech and expression, which is available to every citizen of the country, and the media derives its authority or its powers from that particular provision of the Constitution. But again, Article 19(b) also talks about the reasonable restrictions, including foreign policy, including defamation, including a lot of sensitivity and all these things. So freedom, we need to distinguish between freedom and license. Freedom comes with responsibility.
Right.
So we have to exercise that. I see that being violated in many cases. In the name of freedom, it's not related to just media.
Right.
This recent controversy about somebody, showing Hindu deities in a derogatory manner, or for that matter, any other religion also, hurting the sentiments of people belonging to different religions. India is a multi-ethnic, multi-linguistic country with a lot of diversity, and we need to respect that. We need to respect the sentiments of the people. We have to factor in things like defamation, libel, reputation of people, contempt of court, our relations with neighboring countries. All these will have to be factored in while doing a reportage, or while whether it is print, electronic, or digital media. So I think there is need for more responsibility, and to that extent I think that it is lack of training that is responsible to a great extent, lack of awareness. Particularly in the rural areas and the district level, you have stringers and all that. Most of them do not even have the basic journalistic training.
Okay.
People in cities and big papers certainly have diplomas and degrees, but others, many have no idea of media. They just jump in and they think that everybody can do it. Okay. It's not. It's a profession. Like everybody cannot become a doctor. Everybody cannot become an engineer.
Right. So basically, you are hitting the apple of discord. And since I'm getting a point to ask you that you are complaining that media literacy is lacking somewhere.
Media literacy, no. Media education. Media literacy is for the
common citizen. How do you
citizen.
differentiate between them?
Media education. Media education is that when people who are coming to work in media as professionals need certain qualifications.
Right.
No other profession allows people without qualification. You have people. If you want to be a doctor, you need to get a degree from a medical college. National Medical Commission, has to give you a license.
Exactly.
Similarly, law. The Bar Council of India has to give you a license. But in media, anybody and everybody. In Delhi, the joke is that somebody who is ironing the clothes, that's called press karna. He also uses press.
Right.
So media is a profession where you need certain. So that is media education. Media literacy is the common man who should understand the nuances of media, right. Because without understanding media, he or she can become a victim of infodemic, overdose of information, fake content, misinformation, disinformation. So this has to media literacy will have to be imparted right from school curriculum. Whereas media education is for those who want to get into media.
Exactly. So how do you find these two concepts in Tripura?
Well, media literacy is nascent across the country, not just in Tripura.
Okay.
I think it is at a very, very, initial stages. We are all trying to work on it, but media education, I think only this, your central university imparts media education. So there is a lot of scope for media education in Tripura. You know, we can always the state government should look at this aspect, and other universities should also open departments of media and mass communication.
So, I would like to ask, apart from the topic of our conversation today, that since you have coveted such a brilliant designation, so what are your future prospects?
Well, future, I keep working, you know.
No, what I'm telling, because since you have many things in your mind to change this entire
Well,
fraternity.
I want to bring about qualitative changes in media education, because that's my domain now.
Right.
So I want mass communication to be a subject in the UPSC. I want more standardization in media. I want qualifications to be made essential for media jobs. So these are areas where I am working currently.
Okay.
So let us hope for the best, because media needs to be streamlined. Media education needs to be streamlined. Though media education has been since Annie Besant started it in this country for over 100 years, right. We are yet to evolve as a discipline the way the social sciences have emerged. We have not emerged that way, you know.
So you believe that the perspective has to be changed or modified?
Well, media, I think that media is not something that anybody can just, any Tom, Dick and Harry can just walk in, you know. That's not, I don't think that's appropriate. This entire concept of citizen journalism, I have a problem with that.
Okay.
Because I believe that, do you hear about citizen doctors? Do you hear about citizen engineers?
No.
Citizen chartered accountants?
Not
so when that's not possible, how can you give fourth estate to every citizen just like that, without any qualification, any degree, you know? So, so if everybody can become a journalist, then hundreds of universities today are offering, media as a course. They should shut down. I mean, we should all be shutting down our, universities. Let everybody become journalists. It doesn't happen like that, you know. So there has to be some kind of an order.
So do you have a fear that if citizen journalism is prescribed and is practiced in a mass spectrum or in mass area, so the concept of ethics and morality in point of view of journalism will be doctored somewhere or will be misused?
No, obviously, because they are not trained. So what is happening is that, there are checks and balances in journalism. You need to understand the Constitution of India. You need to understand the right to information. You need to understand the different laws, IPC, CRPC, the laws of defamation, libel. You need to understand the incitement to violence. You need to understand, pornography. You need to understand the laws of copyright. You need to understand, patents. You need to understand so many aspects before you become a journalist. Without that, if you jump into journalism and you start writing whatever you feel like, it can create divisions, hatred. It can lead to violence in the society. So I think that they will become misguided missiles. So that would be dangerous. It could turn into an anarchy. So that's what is happening in social media today. Social media is a great tool for democratization, but if it goes into the wrong hands, it can really wreak havoc with reputations, with the fragile social fabric that we have.
Since I have got you with us, and I don't want to spare this opportunity to ask you, I want those who are watching our show right now, I want you to explain two things. One is yellow journalism and ethical journalism.
Okay. Well, yellow journalism has been there for a long time. And yellow journalism is again not following the rules of the game. You use journalism as a tool to blackmail as a tool to, kind of intimidate people, to make money in unfair means. That's what yellow journalism is all about. To publish things without verification, without fact checking, if I may use that term.
Okay.
That's what is yellow journalism. And ethical journalism is following the rules of the game. I mean, you have to be accurate when you report. You have to be objective when you report. Your reportage should be free of biases. You can have your views in the editorial. Your personal views or your voting preferences should not find reflection in your reportage. When you report, state the facts. So the importance, today we have a lot of activists. What we need are factivists, people who work on facts.
Okay.
So I think that these are the basic differences.
So how do you find these two concepts, YOLO journalism as well as ethical journalism, somehow influencing the freedom of speech right now in India?
No, ethics are very important. Yellow journalism, well, it has acquired a lot of other shapes. We had paid news, and all that stuff which have come up, which is in a way an extension of yellow journalism. So paid news is, then the sweat equities are there in media. People pay in stocks and shares in lieu of coverage, in lieu of promotion. You're cheating the audience basically. Then the radio tapes came.
Right.
Then during election, the paid news became a big menace. So these are all extension at the end of the day. So anything that can in a way diminish or denigrate the image of the media, the credibility of the media, if it can dent, I think that we should try to eliminate them, those factors. They will continue, but if at least we can reduce the volume, minimize their impact, I think it would contribute to the credibility of the media, which is very important. When people lose faith in the three other estates, the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. It is their faith is in the fourth estate. That media will be the custodian of the constitution. It will protect us. But if we are seen to be compromising, then there is no hope. So I think that, while we need to survive, the economic model has to be very robust, but we cannot compromise on ethics.
Right. So it's very essential also to know about your opinion. How do you find the National Education Policy 2020? How it's going to affect the entire fraternity, media fraternity?
Well, we have started. We are the first university in the country to implement the National Education Policy. We have implemented already, 8 programs, including in journalism, advertising and public relations, and even filmmaking. We have started at our university. What the National Education Policy does is that it tries to produce an inclusive generation. Holistic personalities. So even if you are a journalist, you are given exposure to many other disciplines in terms of general, generic electives. So it could be psychology, it could be personality development, it could be environmental sciences. So you are a well-rounded person when you come out of it. And certainly, yes, it has factors like flexibility. If you drop out this year, you can always pick up a certificate or a diploma after first year or second year and join sometimes later and continue your education. You have the option of, it's about interdisciplinarity. So you can study music with medicine, A lot of choice-based credit courses are there, which are optional. It gives a lot of focus on activities like NCC, NSS. It gives you a lot of exposure, and you have get credits for them.
Okay.
Even for cultural programs, you get credits. And after 4 years, if you have, as per the recent UGC order, 75% AGP in your fourth year, you don't even need to do a master's to get into PhD. You can straight away, join a PhD course. So a lot of advantages are certainly there, and globally it is a 4-year UG programs in most Western countries. So it's easier for you to, go to another country for further studies or for job opportunities also. Because earlier, if you do a 3-year program plus 1 year, you need to do a diploma in some, and then you have to show it as a 4-year program. Only then you will be allowed, but today that's not the case. You have 4-year programs.
Right. So, so many things have been touched upon. We have come to know about so many things. দর্শক বন্ধুরা, আজকে আমরা প্রফেসর সুরেশকে পেয়েছি আমাদের মাঝে, এবং সংবাদ জগতে মত প্রকাশের স্বাধীনতা বর্তমান সময়ের পরিপ্রেক্ষিতে এটাই আমাদের আলোচনার বিষয় ছিল। এবং স্যার আমাদেরকে বিভিন্ন উদাহরণ দিয়ে এবং তাত্ত্বিকভাবে সেই বিষয়গুলো তুলে ধরেছেন। তার পাশাপাশি আমাদের আজকের অনুষ্ঠানের অতিথি আমাদের রাজ্য সম্পর্কে বিভিন্ন মতামত দিয়েছেন। আমাদের রাজ্যের আগামী দিনে কীভাবে অগ্রগতি হতে পারে সেই বিষয়ে উনি ওনার বিশেষ মতামত রেখেছেন। এবং সর্বোপরি সংবাদ জগতের সঙ্গে যারা জড়িত রয়েছেন তাদেরকে প্রশিক্ষণ দেবার জন্যই উনি আমাদের রাজ্যে এসেছিলেন, এবং ওনার প্রশিক্ষণ শিবির শেষ হয়েছে, এবং উনি ওনার এত বছরের শিক্ষকতা জীবনের যে আলব্ধ জ্ঞান সেটা উনি ভাগাভাগি করে নিয়েছেন সবার সঙ্গে। এবং আমরা প্রত্যাশা করি যে আগামী দিনেও উনি আসবেন আমাদের রাজ্যে এবং বিভিন্ন বিষয় নিয়ে ওনার সঙ্গে আলোচনা হবে, এবং ওনার আলোচনা থেকে আমরা ঋদ্ধ হব। Sir, thank you so much for coming over here.
It was a real pleasure.
And your knowledge, and it was tremendous, sir.
Thank you so
It's been a
much.
great pleasure to talk to you,
Thank
sir.
you. Namaskar.